They said no. No reason. No call. Just 2 lines in your inbox at 7:43. You read it standing in the kitchen of the apartment you already live in. The one with the radiator that clicks all night. The one where the window in the bedroom does not fully close. You applied for something better. You were told no. You were not told why. David got approved on the same day you applied. You do not know that yet. The lease you sign at this level does not protect you. It protects the building. You are 26. Your bank account holds $1,400 after rent. Not $1,400 saved. $1,400 left. The difference between those two numbers, most people never look at it long enough to feel sick. The apartment costs $850 a month. The security deposit was $850 more. First month, last month deposit. $2,550 to move into a place you do not own. Every dollar is gone the moment you hand it over. It works for someone else's future while you pay again next month. This is the first mechanism. Nobody explains it to you. You just pay it. Your building has 22 units. The landlord lives 40 minutes away in a house he owns outright. He bought this building with equity from the last one. Every rent check is a dividend. You are not an investor here. You are the yield. You do not know it yet. How the system treats you right now, it has almost nothing to do with who you are. It has everything to do with what column your number falls in. There is a line that will follow you across every level. Remember it now. The maintenance request you submitted 6 weeks ago has not been answered. You mention it to the woman at the front desk. She writes it down. She has written it down before. Nothing happens. You are a rent check with a name attached. The name is optional. The check is not. David calls from his new place. 2 bedrooms. Natural light. Parking included. He sounds different on the phone. You cannot name the difference exactly. You file it somewhere and do not open the folder. Will you tell yourself at this level to keep going? Drop it in the comments. Every person reading this has a version of that conversation. At $30,000 a year, the system assigns you a category before you finish the application. Credit below 680 means the answer is probably no before the manager reads your name. Income below 3 times the monthly rent means the same. These are filters. You are on the wrong side and no one will tell you. They will just stop returning your calls. You stay. The application fees, the loan, $40 here, $55 there, add up to a week of groceries. Before you have seen a single apartment, the cost of trying to leave makes staying feel like a decision. It is not a decision. It is a trap that looks like inertia. The building remembers what you paid. The building does not remember who you are. You are 29 now. You earn $4,200 a month. The same apartment costs $940. The landlord raised it twice. You did not leave either time. The friction of leaving always just slightly exceeded the pain of staying. That is not an accident. That is a business model. At $4,000 a month, you qualify for a slightly better building. The lease has 14 pages. It had 5 at your first place. Every additional page protects the building from you, not you from the building. David bought a unit 2 years ago. He mentioned it once and then went quiet. People accumulating something tend to go quiet about it. You notice the silence more than the announcement. At his level, something changed that has nothing to do with square footage. When a pipe bursts in his bathroom, he is angry. When the same thing happens in yours, you are afraid. Angry means you own the problem. Afraid means you do not know if the landlord will blame you. Afraid means you do not know if this ends with a letter. A lease non-renewal is legal. It does not require cause. 3 years of perfect payments. Then a note. The owner has decided to make other arrangements. Other arrangements. You are the arrangement being replaced. You do not know it yet. The moment you have been dreading. It is also the moment everything begins to change. The letter arrives in March. 60 days notice. The building has been sold. The new owners plan to renovate. The updated rate will be $1,645 per month. You are currently paying $980. You sit with that number for a long time. There is a woman in your office named Constance. She eats lunch alone most days. One afternoon, she sits across from you and asks how the search is going. You tell her. She listens without offering solutions. At the end, she says, the rent was always a payment. It was never an investment. When you stop paying for something you will never own. She refills her coffee and leaves. You think about that for 3 weeks. The building remembers what you paid. The building does not remember who you are. Most people reading this have never been told exactly what changes at 6 figures. Not the lifestyle. The mechanism. Here it is. Below $60,000 a year, a landlord filters for risk. Will this person pay? Will they stay? At 60,000 and above, the calculation shifts. You're no longer a risk to manage. You become a target to acquire. Your value as a resident goes up. That value does not lower your rent. It expands the buildings willing to approve you. The leverage is still entirely on the other side. What most people never realize, your rent payment services debt on a deal you are not part of. The property is collateral on the owner's next loan. The asset appreciates. The equity accumulates. None of it belongs to you. You are the mechanism that makes it work for someone else. You have just learned something that most people with a lease have never been shown. The ones who understand this tend to move differently once they do. At 85,000, the buildings change. Not just the quality. The relationship. A property manager calls you back the same day. This feels like progress. You are not wrong. But you are not yet on the other side of the line. Your rent contains someone else's mortgage, someone else's profit margin, property tax, management fee. All of it lives inside your monthly check. None of it builds toward anything with your name on it. You sign a 2-year lease because the discount is $200 a month. In month 19, you get a job offer in another city. The early termination clause is 2 months' rent. You do the math and decline. The building remembers what you paid. The building does not remember who you are. At 150,000, you stop being a filter question. You become a preferred applicant. You will feel it in the callback speed. The tour that runs 10 minutes over. The waived application fee mentioned casually at the end. You are now expensive enough to attract. The real separation begins here. Not between good and bad renters. Between people for whom renting is permanent and people for whom it is transitional. You should know exactly which one you are. David's building went up 41% since he bought it. He made payments lower than your rent the entire time. The equity is now funding a down payment near the water. The bank treats equity like cash at this level. You are still building someone else's equity with every check you write. You do not know it yet, but the number that changes everything, it is closer than it looks. At 300,000 a year, you stop receiving applications. You receive proposals. The leasing office sends a packet before you submit anything. A floor plan. A handwritten note from the director. No application fee. 1 month free offered up front. The relationship has inverted. Your maintenance is handled within 4 hours. The concierge knows your name without being reminded. When you mention the kitchen lighting bothers you, a contractor appears on Thursday. None of this is yours. The equity still accumulates for someone else. But not owning has been engineered to feel like nothing is missing. The danger, the comfort is real enough that the urgency disappears. The pressure that used to push you, it has been replaced with something that feels like arrival. You have not arrived. David calls. He does not talk about the building anymore. He talks about the portfolio. At $5 million net worth, you do not look for real estate. Real estate looks for you. The broker calls. The off-market opportunity arrives by text. The deal structure is not a lease. It involves equity participation, partnership arrangements, a conversation about what you want the asset to do for your balance sheet over the next decade. Nobody hands you a 14-page lease at this level. They hand you a term sheet. At $5 million, the property is not a place you live. The property is a position you hold. The rejection letter from 9 years ago is still in your email. 2 lines. No explanation. That building has changed hands twice since then. The current owner bought it as part of a portfolio acquisition. He has never seen the inside of Unit 412. He does not know about the radiator. He does not know about the window. He knows the yield. The building remembers what you paid. The building does not remember who you are. At $5 million, you are not the one who pays. You are the one who collects. At $5 million, you do not buy real estate. Real estate buys you. You are back in the kitchen. 7:43 in the morning. The email is still on the screen. You were told no. You were not told why. But somewhere between that rejection and right now, the question changed. It stopped being whether they would approve you. It became whether you would choose them. You already know the answer. The floor you built is invisible from the outside. That is how you know it is real.